It always comes to this. More nice shit. Hello there guys, today I just wanted to do a video kind of all about the things I've learned with tattooing over black over the last, I guess it's been close to 2 years, more than a year and a half, not quite 2 years. So I've been working on white on black, black on black for quite a while now, color on black, all that. Obviously, anyone who watches my channel or follows my Instagram or my TikTok or any of those things, you'll know what I mean by that. I've done lots of red on black. I plan on doing a lot more red on black. I'll get to that in time. So we started out with just very, very small touches of black on black. My artist and I weren't sure whether even that much would work. We started out dynamic black over dynamic black. So my blackout was done all with dynamic. And then for a while there, we were thinking that all that really mattered was the needle groupings that we used, or maybe the depth of skin we were in, or something like that. I hadn't experimented with other black inks yet. All of my black and all of my tattoos, other than a few very old ones, was, from my knowledge, done with dynamic black, and so it had a very consistent tone, which is really necessary when you're doing blackouts. You want to stay with the same ink. Got a little off topic. We started out just doing a few little filigree tattoos, kind of coming off the shoulder blades, because when we were re-blacking some of my arms the first time, or not the first time, when Rick was blacking out some of my arms after finishing my blackout legs, he took over from Lee, where Lee left off. Lee had done my torso and my arms, and when he left to go to Kelowna to tattoo there, Rick took over the blackout project. So Rick's black work was just a little bit darker than Lee's was, but it was a little less smooth. So they had their ups and downs, but anyway, after Rick finished my legs, I decided that I would like to redo my arms with him, because I thought they could be just a little bit darker. Whatever the case, my arms had already been done several times. They were already polished and smooth enough, but I wanted to make them a little darker if I could. So I did not want to redo my blackout torso. I didn't want to get into my chest and my stomach again. I didn't really want to go into my back. So the way that we figured we would end it off is, instead of just continuing the black back here, we decided that we would do these little filigree pieces, just tie it all in. That worked great. The filigree still there. I showed off, obviously I'm wearing a shirt for this video. I rarely wear a shirt. That's fine, I'm not gonna take my shirt off and show that off. I'll show some pictures of them. Everything we did is still there. So the black on black we did, it's still there, but it's pretty subtle. The little filigree pieces, they're now going on 2 years and they're still visible. They're not striking from a distance, they're not even striking up front. They're a little dull, but they are still there. You can see there's a little bit, no, you can't see. And I'm gonna get into the obvious black piece here in another video. I don't really want to get into that today, but there's a little peekaboo for you. Those who've been watching my channel will know. Anyway, yeah, the black filigree is still there, so that didn't change. Not too much anyway, just softened. That being said, from there, we moved on. We got to the bottom of my arms, and instead of re-blacking out my fingers, because I was working so much at the time, we were gonna have to come up with a way to cap off the hands, similarly to how we did the shoulders. So we decided to do little tattoos on my hands instead of blacking them out again. And we came up with the rose for this hand, but first the moon for this hand. Now this is even lighter now because Terry, the guy who extended my face tattoos, he had a cancellation at the shop the other day, and we decided, hey, we got 20 minutes. Let's go ahead and hit the moon again. Now it hasn't peeled this time, so it's still, I'd say it's about 5 days old, and it's probably gonna peel either tonight or tomorrow morning it'll start. But hand tattoos always take a little while. I'm not sure how bright it'll be when it's done, but it'll be brighter than it was, and that's always the case. Anyway, the first time we did the white on black on my moon tattoo, we just used fusion white, and it went in super thick. It caked up really thick. The skin almost looked like clay over top of my hand, and it was white, like super bright at first, but as the days went on, it tended to gray out a little. It even browned a little bit. It looked a little bit brown by the end. Once that initial peel happened, it went back to that kind of gray look. Like it was like kind of a light to medium light gray kind of look. And that's where it stayed for probably about a year. So with that said, it didn't keep darkening. Or it didn't go yellow either. People often say that white ink will just go away or vanish, or it'll turn back to black, or it'll go yellow or something. None of that bullshit happens. That's not how anything works. Anyone who says that to you they're either lying to you straight out, or they're just a moron. Once something is saturated, that is basically what's gonna be. Sorry, that's just the way it works. Anyone who says otherwise has never done it before, or they're just lying. It's that simple. Now that being said, it wasn't super bright. It was never gonna be super white. It was gonna be gray, you know? We did the second pass. It got a little bit lighter, but then we used the intense titanium that we've been using on my torso. So that one experience with the white not going in as well as Rick wanted it to led him to experiment with silver when we got to my torso. So we did a lot of tense titanium silver on my torso, and it just had a bit of a shine, and he figures because it has a bit of a black base to it, it mixes with the black ink a little better, and it's definitely thinner than the white ink. So from there, we started to cut the white ink with silver for the subsequent rounds of white ink that we've done on my torso. Has been a blend of white and intense titanium. So he's been using fusion white and intense titanium for that. And it just thins out the white, and it mixes well with the black. In his experience, it goes in a little bit easier, and that seems to stay really bright. All of my white on black / silver on black now has been done a time or two, or my the highlights of my eye, that's been done 3 times. Again, it's not aging poorly, it's just about getting to a point that we want it to be, like a brightness that we want it to be. Once something has been done once and it's established a base of a white color, as you can see here, that's been done once. If we go back in and layer that, working from a lighter layer to begin with, it will have a chance to be brighter next time, kind of thing. So it is worth doing more than once, not because it needs to be touched up or it's fading. You can see here, this was done back in December, and it still looks about the same. It's just more about how bright do you want the white to be? Do you want it to be super white? Well, then you can just keep going. I mean, sky's the limit. It's really about your patience, from what I can gather. That being said, the white has probably been the least effective on its own of anything that we've done. Silver was better. Black is obviously better. Even the dynamic, I would argue, is probably a little more prominent than white has been. Dynamic on dynamic even. But it doesn't age particularly well. The dynamic starts out looking great, over dynamic even, but it does age pretty rapidly to a point where it becomes very subtle. And that's where, once we started experimenting with Panthera, the speed of the implementation of this has really gone up. So you can see like the roses here, they're holding really, really well, whereas they were vanishing a little bit with dynamic. They were there, but even when Rick tried to touch them up this year with Panthera on them, it took him a really hard, long time, and it was very hard to follow the lines. He almost had to invent some of the details that had mushed up or started to kind of dull out. So you do need a different black if you want some longevity and the strikingness. You can't just double up. And I thought you could at first. You can't just double dynamic over dynamic and use different needle groupings and hope for the best. But that was part of the learning experience, and we spent the first 6 months or more of this just feeling it out and figuring it out, and we got it now. And that's why I wasn't too afraid to do some experimentation recently. I'll get into that more on the next video though. That being said, we'll move on to red on black. Red on black has easily been the best of anything we've done. It has been superior to white and black. That means to me that probably other colors will work too, and we'll definitely be trying some other colors and different things eventually. But without a question, red on black has been the best. It's gone in one pass brighter and more vivid than anything else we've done. And that's actually made me want to do more red on black and bigger quantities. Like, I'm not saying that I want to take away from the blackout or make this less of a black. Obviously, it's always going to be predominantly black, but when I realized that color on black is an option, and not just an option, but probably our best option for success, long-term and short-term. It looks great going in, and it ages well too. It's opened my eyes to different possibilities. Not necessarily from a composition standpoint. It hasn't changed my idea overall. It's just gonna change my implementation of the idea. It's gonna change kind of what that idea looks like in the end. As I've had the time now to observe all of this healing and aging, because now it's been a year, more than a year since we did the first red on black, and it's all still there. Obviously we've wanted to brighten it or make it more vivid, so we've gone a second pass on some things, but even the parts that have only been done once are still really there. So having that time now to see how the work ages, all the different things we've done, it's given me a really good view of like how I should carry this forward if I want to have something that lasts forever, or lasts forever in quotations. Obviously nothing on me lasts forever, and I feel like people are in for a real reminder of that with this video even, and definitely the next YouTube vlog I do, and some of my upcoming Instagram posts. Nothing is going to last forever, but the red on black has lasted the best, and so I want to take it more in that direction. But yeah, so yeah, recap. I'll mention quickly, the red that we've been using is called Nebula Red. I don't know that that matters, but it was a thick red and it was super bright. So in other words, Rick would never use it normally to get the color that we're getting. We wanted to go in super bright because we already knew that putting red into black, it's going to darken. So we got kind of a blood red out of it, even though it's a really hot pink kind of red as a base. Anyway, I wanted to do a video all about the things that I've learned and how this stuff ages and heals, because I feel like I'm at a point now where I can share some insight and put it all in one place. I could go more in depth on all of this. Maybe if there's a demand, any particular questions that I haven't answered here about the process of this, I'll do a part 2. For now, I feel like that's quite a bit, and I'll leave it at that. Anyway, I'll be making another video very soon, and we'll be talking all about this and what this means for my future in the next video. So if you guys have liked this one, give this a thumbs up, and I'll talk to you again soon.